and welcome to this third video in this series for speakers on 5 things that can make speakers sound insecure or unsure of themselves. My name is Anuska Taylor and I'm a certified vocal instructor. So if you've missed the first couple of videos, the links are below. And just to recap, I talked about volume and whether that's talking too loud or too quiet, but having very little in the way of control over your volume. I also talked about being very monotone and mumbling. And in this final video, I'm going to talk about speaking too fast and pace. So I think we've all either experienced it for ourselves or certainly been in the audience when someone has talked very, very quickly. And again, as the theme in these videos is we want to make it as easy as possible for our listeners to follow us and to engage with us. So if you're talking too fast, your listener has to work really, really hard to keep up with you. And particularly if you are teaching something or you want people to take notes, you want to give people the space to actually write things down or even to think, and sometimes if you are lecturing or you're teaching something in some kind of training environment, you want to give people the space to kind of think about questions, think about what you've said. So if you talk too quickly, they're just trying to keep up with you. And a lot of times people just give up because it's just too difficult. So often this can be a sign of being very nervous for people. They just want to get the speech over and done with or whatever it is they're doing. But the other thing I see as well is people that just have a lot of thoughts and a lot of content that they want to share, that they speak very quickly because they're worried they're going to forget something. So you just want to be mindful that you want it to be as easy as possible for your listeners, and you want to come across at least like you're in control and you're calm and you're relaxed and you're not giving your any sort of sense of nervousness or anxiety when you're speaking. Now, there are certain jobs in the world where you do have to talk quickly. So for example, sports commentators or auctioneers do talk quickly because they have to. But again, you want it to be a conscious choice so that you talk quickly because you're choosing to, not because this is my one default way of speaking. So I've got a little exercise you can try right now, and you need your phone and you need the stopwatch on your phone or a stopwatch. And what I'd like you to do, and there is a little tiny bit of preparation for this. So what I'd like you to do is, in a Word document is probably the easiest way to do this because it will count the words for you. But I want you to create a document with 90 words, with 140 words, and with 190 words. Now the words themselves doesn't matter. You could just take this from a document, plonk it into a Word document, make sure it's 90, 140 and 190. So you want 3 different versions of this document. Then what I'd like you to do is take, for example, the 90 word document, set your stopwatch for 1 minute, and I want you to read that document of 90 words in the minute. Now, I will take a stab in the dark and say you will probably find that quite difficult to fill that minute with 90 words because that's quite slow. Now, I want you to do it for all 3. And the key part of this, again, like with the other exercises that I've shared with you, is really to start to challenge yourself. If you know you're a fast speaker, to challenge yourself to slow down and just see what happens. Like, you've just got more space. You've got more space to articulate. You've got more space to think. You've got more space to make it more interesting for your listeners because you can actually put more emphasis, more color, more dynamics into what you're saying. So take the 90 words, and you might have to do this a few times, but what I'd like you to get to the point is you fill that minute with the 90 words. And if that means that you need to actually have lots of pauses, put lots of pauses in there. But you want it to make sense again. When you actually kind of do this for real, so to speak, when you're practicing, just practice the 90 words. But what I'd like you to do is actually eventually take some 90 words that actually have some significance and really fill it out, and really think about putting pauses where there's full stops, or a longer pause where it's a new thought. And obviously you can put pauses in where there's commas, etc. Use the pauses as your punctuation. And then practice that with the 140 words and the 190 words and see where you're most comfortable. And again, fill it out if you need to with pauses, and slow down so that you can fill up those words. Notice how hard or not you find this and which one you find difficult or not, and work on the one that you find the hardest, the most. Now, as with the other exercises, again, we are practicing, we are learning to vary. So we're learning to vary the speed, so we don't have just a default speed for our speech. So just to give you a little bit of an understanding with this, 90 words is very slow, and I've deliberately put that one in there. 190 words is more towards sort of conversational speech. But if you are presenting or teaching or storytelling or sharing information that you really want people to absorb, you probably want to be somewhere around the 150, 160 words per minute or thereabouts. And but really this is just about becoming conscious of your speed and learning to vary it, and knowing that it's not just a one size fits all, that depending on what you're talking about, you will want to vary the speed. Just as another point as well, if you are storytelling, there might be a part of a story where for dramatic effect you want to slow right down or you want to speed up. And so again, use the speed to add value and enhance what you're speaking about, rather than just, this is my default way of speaking. So I hope that's helped. There's a bit of information there. And if you haven't seen the other two videos, I encourage you to look at those as well. If this has been of interest to you and you'd like to find out more, please click on the link below. I work with speakers, and I have a page on my empowered speaking work that you can have a look at. But thank you so much.